and gentlemen, Shah Rukh Khan starrer Pathaan, and one of the biggest films that will be released this year, has been in the eye of the storm ever since the song Besharam Rang came out. It ruffled the feathers of Hindu hardline groups who saw red over Deepika Padukone's saffron bikini. There is no end to protests. VHP and Bajrang Dal barged into an Ahmedabad mall and vandalized the posters of the film just recently. With growing akrosh, the censor board has given the filmmakers an edit list. While the Pathaan movie has been okayed for release, but over 10 cuts have been suggested in the movie. The filmmakers have been asked to replace close-up, buttock shots, the side position of semi-nudity and the sensual dance movements during the lyrics of one of the songs in the movie with suitable scenes. It doesn't quite stop at that. The Pathaan team seems to have been advised to replace the word RAW with Hamare, and even Langde Lule needs to be replaced with Tute Fute. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, you can't. If somebody has to be called Langde Lule and you substitute it with Tute Fute, I really don't know how it improves the reference. But cuts have been advised in several places, including the word PMO in 13 places. The abbreviations also have been asked to be replaced in the context of the Prime Minister with President or Minister and suggestions of that kind. Censor board's decision has not gone down well with the opposition because it's now become a political issue. It says there's a blatant attempt to suppress creative liberty. Listen in.
This is a typical BJP style of politicking where they divide everyone. They try and put one against the other. Now they are trying to put society against Bollywood. People against Bollywood. Now that's not how you play your politics. Please focus on governance and stop this divisive politics.
First and foremost, who is Bajrang Dal? Isn't it a terrorist organization, if I'm not wrong? Wasn't it somebody from the Bajrang Dal who killed that priest and his 2 children in a car, if I'm not wrong? So why does one have that organization at all? If they go and start attacking theatres and whatever they want, tomorrow who's going to invest in India? Where is the law and order is what private investors are asking.
कला का संरक्षण बगैर किसी भेदभाव के कर किया जाना चाहिए। कला और संस्कृति में किसी भी प्रकार की राजनीति और विशेष रूप से बायकॉट की राजनीति कतई उचित नहीं है। योगी आदित्यनाथ जी के सामने पूरी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री, विशेष रूप से सुनील शेट्टी ने जिस तरीके की बात उठाई है, वो एक गंभीर विषय है और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की मोदी सरकार के लिए चिंतनीय विषय है कि किस तरीके से कला और कलाकारों का शोषण हो रहा है बायकॉट की राजनीति से। ये तुरंत बंद होना चाहिए, नहीं तो देश की कला और संस्कृति पर गंभीर खतरा है।
Facing scrutiny and being on the radar of the boycott brigade, a group of celebs met and petitioned Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath yesterday in Mumbai. Sunil Shetty sought help from him to curb anti-Bollywood sentiment amidst the boycott trends that often are seen on social media. Listen in to the exchange.
ये एक हैशटैग जो चल रहा है, हैशटैग बॉयकॉट बॉलीवुड, आपके कहने से ही ये रुक भी सकता है। लोगों को तक ये पहुंचाना बहुत जरूरी है कि हम अच्छा भी बहुत काम कर चुके हैं। हमारे बीच एक रॉटन एप्पल तो कहीं भी होता ही है,
जो लोगों के मनोरंजन के साथ साथ उनके ज्ञानवर्धन के लिए राष्ट्रीय एकता और अखंडता की दिशा से बड़ी भूमिका का निर्वहन करते हैं और ये हमारी फिल्मों ने हमेशा किया है। हमें उसको उसी दृष्टिकोण से देखना होगा। बाकी हर जगह भगवान राम पे भी आरोप लगाने वाले थे और हर एक स्तर पर इस प्रकार के आरोप प्रत्यारोप चलते हैं। उनसे बहुत उसकी परवाह किए बगैर हमें सकारात्मक दृष्टि से ही आगे बढ़ना चाहिए।
Hitting out at the opposition, the BJP has said that the plot to divide will not thrive in Bharat. Listen in.
देखिए, ये कांग्रेस के लोग हैं, मूल काम उनका विभाजनकारी है। जातिगत राजनीति कांग्रेस करती है, सांप्रदायिक बातें कांग्रेस करती है, बाकी देश में कोई नहीं करता।
So the legitimate question we are asking on the Newshour tonight, Is it time to balance creativity and culture rather than the confrontation that's brewing virtually all the time? That's the question, and that's the debate. Pathaan censored, that's the hashtag and the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour First. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight, Khushbu, actor, joining me live from Chennai, Rahul Ishwar, activist, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, Kasturi Shankar, actor, Lokesh Jindal, leader of the Congress Party, Akashdeep Sabir, film producer, actor and director, also joining me live from Mumbai. But my first question goes to Mr. Shalabh Mani Tripathi, media advisor to the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. And Shalabh Mani Tripathi ji, सवाल ये है कि कोएग्जिस्ट सबको करना होगा। जिस तरह के हमने सीन्स देखे हैं कि कोई पिक्चर आती है, उसमें फाड़ा जाता है पोस्टर को, सिनेमा हॉल्स में डिस्ट्रॉय किया जाता है, क्या ये सही है? क्या प्रेशर डालना सेंसर बोर्ड पर ये सही है? क्योंकि आप फिल्में सेंसर करा लीजिए, ट्रेलर्स तो सेंसर नहीं हुए, वो तो सोशल मीडिया पे बहुत दिनों से बहुत लोग देख रहे हैं। और अगर इस फिल्म के नहीं देखेंगे तो आप OTT पे चले जाइए, OTT पे वैसे ही बहुत कुछ देखने को मिल रहा है जहां सेंसर है नहीं। तो शलभ मणि त्रिपाठी जी, कहीं ना कहीं ये जो बॉयकॉट बॉलीवुड और ये जो सेंसर का जो दबाव है, ये कहीं ना कहीं दोनों तरफ से खामियाजा नहीं हो रहा सबको?
नविका जी, सबसे पहली बात तो ये कि कौन सी फिल्म फ्लॉप होगी, कौन सी फिल्म हिट होगी, कौन सी फिल्म लोग देखना पसंद करेंगे, कौन सी फिल्म नहीं पसंद करेंगे। कुछ लोग चुपचाप उसका विरोध करेंगे, कुछ लोग बायकॉट करेंगे, कुछ लोग सड़क पर उतरेंगे। ये लोगों का विषय हो सकता है। अगर आप एक तरफ ये बात करते हैं कि हर व्यक्ति को अपनी अभिव्यक्ति की आजादी है, एक फिल्म मेकर है, उनको भी आजादी है, वो जो दिखाना चाहते हैं दिखाएं कानून के पैमाने में रहते हुए, तो लोगों को बायकॉट करने की भी आजादी है, लोगों को विरोध करने की भी आजादी है। और आप तो बहुत जागरूक हैं। सेंसर बोर्ड पे तो दबाव तब पड़ता था ना जब इमरजेंसी पर फिल्म बनती थी, इंदिरा जी पर फिल्म बनती थी और वो फिल्म पास नहीं हो पाती थी। एक फिल्म आई थी आंधी, आपको याद होगा, आंधी नहीं रिलीज हो पाई। दिलीप कुमार का नाम दिलीप कुमार कैसे पड़ा वो भी आपको याद होगा। वो दौर था, उस दौर में तो बहुत कुछ बनता था। अब उस दौर में तो आप देखिए, एक फिल्म आई थी दीवार, उस फिल्म में दिखाता है कि जो हीरो है वो जाके भगवान के सामने कहता है हम तुम्हें मानते ही नहीं, तुम्हारा कोई वजूद ही नहीं है, हम तुमसे कोई उम्मीद नहीं रखते, तुम कुछ नहीं कर सकते हमारा। और वही हीरो जब दूसरी फिल्म में जाता है तो बिल्ला लगाता है, कुली बनता है और दिखाता है कि बिल्ले पर कुछ लिखा हुआ है और कुली उसमें गोली चलती है, गोली कुछ नहीं कर पाती है। ये भी होता था। अब लोगों ने अगर तय कर लिया कि नहीं, भारतीय संस्कृति के साथ हम मजाक बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे, ये तो बनाने वालों को तय करना है। वो चाहे तो बना के जिसको दिखाना चाहते हैं दिखाएं। लोग अगर आज दक्षिण भारत की फिल्में देख रहे हैं, दक्षिण भारत की फिल्मों पर पैसा बरस रहा है और कुछ लोगों की फिल्मों पे पैसे नहीं आ रहे, वो केवल भूजा खा रहे हैं, तो लोगों की चॉइस है। आप जबरदस्ती थोड़ा दिखवा सकते हैं कि मैं नविका जी को बोलूं कि नहीं नविका जी जाइए, ये फिल्म आपको देख के आना है। इस पर सरकार कुछ नहीं कर सकती, भारतीय जनता पार्टी कुछ नहीं कर सकती, ये तो आपको तय करना है। वरना इस देश के लोगों ने देखा है कि कैसे दाऊद की एक चुटकी बजाने पर, एक इशारे पर यहां से कुछ बहुत नामी और बहुत मशहूर चेहरे जाते थे और दाऊद के इशारे पर नृत्य करते थे, दुबई के भीतर डांस करते थे और फोटो बहुत दिनों बाद तस्वीरें आती थी कि दाऊद ने फला को नचाया, अपनी पार्टी में फला को नचाया। इस पूरी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री पर किसका साया था ये भी सबको पता है। तब तो नहीं कहा गया कि बड़े बुरे दिन है। इस फिल्म इंडस्ट्री के लोग AK-47 AK-56 खरीदने जाते थे और ड्रग्स को लेकर क्या क्या हुआ तब भी नहीं कहा गया कि बड़ा बुरा साया है। अब क्योंकि अचानक लोगों ने ये तय कर लिया कि नहीं, भारतीय संस्कृति से मजाक स्वीकार नहीं करेंगे, हमें वही चीजें देखनी है जो भारतीय संस्कृति को जो ठीक से दिखाती है, तो भाई आपकी प्रॉब्लम है, आप मत दिखाइए, आपको नहीं चाहिए पैसे। जनता दक्षिण भारत की फिल्मों को देख रही है और अगर आपको लगता है नहीं वास्तव में देश की जनता जागरूक हुई है, तो इसमें आपको देश की जनता को संतुष्ट करना है, इसमें हमारा कोई विषय नहीं है। सेंसर बोर्ड अपना काम कर रहा है, लोग अपना काम कर रहे हैं। हम ना तो किसी से ये कह सकते हैं फिल्म ना देखो, ना किसी से ये कह सकते हैं कि नहीं फिल्म आपको देखनी पड़ेगी। सिर्फ शाहरुख खान है, जो भी लोग हैं उनको तय करना चाहिए।
लोकेश जिंदल जी, लोकेश जिंदल, द क्वेश्चन हियर इज it's the people's will. They will go and watch a film if they want to. They will not go and watch a film if they don't want to. But there will have to be a balance somewhere between the rights and the duties, is what Shalabh Mani Tripathi says. How do you respond?
First of all, culture is
not some form of an entity which existed in rare past, which is static.
culture is an evolving concept. So it evolves with time. So as you move on with time, culture is going to get evolved. तो अगर आप भारतीय संस्कृति की बात करते हैं, तो भाजपा कोई अथॉरिटी नहीं होती भारतीय संस्कृति क्या है ये निर्धारित करने के लिए। भारतीय संस्कृति सैकड़ों हजारों साल पुरानी है, वो बनती जा रही है, आगे भी बनेगी। और जब मैं सिनेमा की बात करता हूं, सिनेमा क्रिएटिव एक्सप्रेशन, वेदर इट इज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ लिटरेचर, आर्ट फॉर्म, पेंटिंग, डांस, दे आर ओनली रिफ्लेक्शन ऑफ दिस इवॉल्विंग कल्चर. You are nobody to say whether a culture is right, wrong, good, bad. These are your own subjective lens. These are all your own prejudices. These are your own bias. What you find ugly could be beautiful. I mean, if you look at
So Andhi was a beautiful film. Andhi was a beautiful film and had lovely songs, beautiful acting by Suchitra Sen and Sanjeev Kumar. Why was it banned, sir? Would you like to also comment on that?
Well, I would say that any form of banning of movie is subjective. I mean, it depends on which context it is being released.
You've answered it, and banning of a movie is subjective, and therefore you cannot criticize. You cannot criticize the BJP. They've taken their subjective call because they happen to be in power. So end of story. Your logic just died 1,000 deaths. But Dr. Anand Ranganathan, while the Congress may not have a leg to stand on, do you think we are caught somewhere in a storm where there has to be a balancing act? The boycott is happening because a Hindu priest, many people say, will be shown as a rapist, but never somebody who is from a priest from another religion. Those people will not be rapists. As Shalam Mani Tripathi ji said, भगवान में आस्था नहीं है, लेकिन 786 का जो बिल्ला है उससे जान बच जाती है. No, those kind of symbolizations that.
Number one, on censorship, my stand is well known. I am against any kind of censorship. The job of the CBFC is to give certificates to films based on their content, A, U, UA, not to demand cuts or censor. To censor any film, book, play, show, in my opinion, is a disgrace. Number two, why do I say this? Because censoring or curbing freedom of expression is always a subjective decision. Always. What is offensive to you might not be offensive to me, and vice versa. Who is to decide what will cause offense? What will offend religious sensibilities? What is pornographic? What is sensuousness? Let me give you an example. Say there's a film made tomorrow that simply has a man reciting verses. And these verses are, no one has the right to be worshipped but Allah 40:62. Polytheists, i.e. Hindus, are the worst of creatures 98:6. Fight against those who do not believe in Allah and who do not adopt Islam. Fight them until they give tax 929. Do not marry polytheist women unless they convert 221. Do not take disbelievers as friends unless they convert, and kill them if they refuse 489. Now these are verbatim quotes, not interpretations or contextual. So tell me, should the CBFC decide all this talk of killing and maiming and enslaving those who don't convert to Islam is hateful and censor this film? This country will blow up if this happens. Number three, the Congress, honestly, they've got some gal, I tell you, condemning censorship. All they have done is they have censored and banned hundreds of films. I recently narrated some of those bans, Navika, but because they retort very cleverly that those are historical bans like Andhi and Kissa Kursi Ka and censorship. So let me today only list the bans and censorships done by the Congress in the last 15 years when it was in power at the center and in the states. Here goes. Congress demanded cuts of all intimate scenes between Jawaharlal Nehru and Edwina Mountbatten, played by Hugh Grant and Kate Blanchett in the film Indian Summer. The filmmakers were so harassed that they shelved the film. Congress banned the film No Fire Zone. It filed a police complaint against Netflix for referring to Rajiv Gandhi as Fattu. Was banned. Inshallah, football was banned. Banned Amol Palekar.
Okay, please. My friend, I just request that थोड़ी सी दया मुझ पर कर दें. मेरा चैनल ना बैन हो जाए. Dr. Anand Ranganathan. with the names that you're just reciting, but
I apologize. That's a legitimate name that was used in the film. I apologize. Maybe you can say beep band. But can I please continue another 30 seconds, please? Because this is very important. This demolishes their claim that anytime anyone comes back at them, they always give Kussa Kursi Ka or Andhi. No. Congress has been banning films not from just last 50, 60 years. They've been banning it right now. It demanded a ban on Padmavati, denied certificate to Papilo Buddha, banned Nakula's innocence of Muslims, demanded a ban on Dam Maharo Dam, Nishabd, Kya super cool and hum. Banned 6 sacred wound of Christ. Da Vinci Code was banned. Demanded cuts in Rajniti. Arakshan was banned. Amu was banned. Tango Charlie was banned. Demanded a ban on Namu Sune Gamo. Arjun Reddy. Demanded a ban on the song Bharat Mata from Shanghai. Demanded a ban on Rang De Basakti. Passed only after minister said yes. Demanded a ban on film Hindu Sarkar. Banned Had Anhad. Demanded a ban on Hey Ram Nathuram. Qaum De Heere on 1984 genocide was banned. Sada Haq was banned. Hawaii on 1984 genocide was banned.
Well, Anand Ranganathan, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, clearly nobody can compete with your list. But I'm coming to you, Rahul Ishwar, but I want to ask Khushbu. Khushbu, the question here is, you can ban, there can be a political debate about who's banning, who's tolerant, who's intolerant, all that can go out. But my question is limited to the fact that you can do a long shot of a certain sensual dance, but you can't do a close-up. Now, what kind of an arbitrary cut is that? You can have the song, but you can't have a side pose. You can not show, you can show a backside, but not a close-up of the buttocks. You can call Langde Lule has to be changed to Tute Pute. Now, I'm not getting the logic of what is the yardstick for the censor board to decide all of this. Langde Lule is not sounding good, but Tute Pute sounds good, and therefore you change it to Tute Pute. Is this absurd logic?
Navika, let me tell you that we all know we need to have a stance, we need to have one Lakshman Rekha. We cannot go beyond that. I'm part of this industry for the last 44 years. I've done nothing in my life but made films, been part of films. We need the freedom of speech, we need freedom of expression to express. Every creator in the film industry has his own ideas as to how it has to be put out on screen. I thought the song of Pathaan was beautiful. Deepika looked scorchingly hot, and so did Mr. Shah Rukh Khan. The censorship, what we talk about, it's a censor board of film certification. And I think this is what we need to understand. I think the right person to answer all these questions and all these controversies which is surrounding Pathaan will be Mr. Prasun Joshi. But I would like to understand that whenever we have a censorship, why is that the much later, after the film is censored, the songs are out, and only then we come back to it, okay, this is probably objectionable, and then we ask for the cuts. Why is it that before we go in for this censor board, why is it we don't think of it? And it's a very simple line that there's something which might look beautiful to me, may not look the same. The beauty lies in the eyes of a beholder. And who decides that? Who decides that? Any kind of vandalism is a definitely no-no. It's not accepted, and I think nobody has the rights to vandalize any public property or dictate terms and say that this need not be shown. I think the valid point which Mr. Sunil Shetty picked up yesterday, it has nothing to do with Pathaan, what Mr. Sunil Shetty spoke. He spoke, I think, for the film industry. It's not the first time, and I think all what Mr. Sunil Shetty spoke is, now we have a hashtag because we have a social platform, but Mr. Sunil Shetty has seen, like panelists said, that, that we evolve. Evolving, yes, it's accepted, but evolving does not mean you forget your roots. Evolving does not mean you forget what you stand for. Evolving does not mean that you forget what India stands for. Evolving does not mean that I am going to ape the West and completely forget that this is what my Indian standards are. And when I say standards, please do not say that, oh, this is what Indian standards. No. And I take pride in saying, when I say Indian standard, I'm talking about our culture. I'm talking about what we believe in. We are open. We have adapted the West.
Point,
we are
point.
moving
Let
forward.
me get in Kasturi
India
Shankar.
is the most
Kasturi Shankar
country in the world.
Yeah,
It's the
Kasturi
most
Shankar,
influential
you
country in the world,
know,
but
do
then
you
we need to
think
know where to put
it's
the
also
full
a
stop
time
to it.
for introspection? After all, a recent film like Lal Singh Chadda, there were no such scenes. So boycott Lal Singh Chadda was not because there were some scenes or there was a controversy over the scenes or the censor board came in. Yet there was an outcry. Now, do you think people, and especially actors and people from Bollywood, need to be in sync with the society that they are in? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, I can't go against the will of the people. No political party can go against the will of the people because people vote for them. Whether it's cinema, you need people to go and watch it. So somewhere or the other, there will have to be a communication channel that's open. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the film wasn't good enough, or maybe because, certain statements were made by Amir Khan and people said, if that's the way he thinks India is, we won't go and watch his film. So it cuts both ways, don't you think?
You have a point there, Navika. First off, let me start by saying hats off to Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Forget about collecting such information to remember it and to reel it out live on TV. Hats off. Although I certainly was taken aback by certain names that he chose to put out on unintended.
I'm sorry, I didn't have a live beeping, instrument here. Otherwise, I would have beeped that sound. But there is no live editing.
It doesn't matter. I think Genitalia. No, it doesn't matter. I think I belong to a clan which believes that genitalia is not offensive or wrong given in context. Everything is about context, which is why I have to say, I'm assuming nobody knows except Prasun Joshi ji and the people who have seen the movie, but I'm thinking perhaps Langda Lula, which be pretty innocuous to me at first guess, maybe in context, maybe was being insensitive to a specially able person on screen. I'm just assuming that maybe that was the reason.
So Tuta Futa will be better?
Tuta Futa is absurd, but perhaps less insensitive. I'm not sure. It's absurd. It's totally absurd. But I don't know. None of us know. But I'll tell you this. I see what has been censored out of the Beshram Rang song, and I'm thinking it's all about exposure. And so much exposure is okay, and that much more is not okay. I think that kind of arbitrary moral policing. Yes, there was a time when I came to the movies several years ago. Yes, the censor board was expected to police extraordinary vulgarity and exposure, but times have changed. People are able to access their entertainment, their pornography, their sleaze, their skin show from every source on earth. There really doesn't need to be moral policing. If they did not like Deepika's butt or side boob, believe me, those comments would have already made a mark on social media, and I don't think a single such comment came. Frankly, social media outrage has been manufactured, and as they say, empty vessels make more noise. There is a lot of noise about the color of her clothes in 3 seconds of a song, which the censor board has not found worthy
Rahul
of a
Ishwar,
cut.
manufactured outrage number 1, and number 2, it's the exposure is something that people should be able to take in their stride, because this is so-called modern India, says Kasturi Shankar. How do you respond?
Navika ji, in every society, in every community, Navika ji, in every society, in every community, community, there is a tug of war between creativity and sensitivity. There is a tug of war between liberty and responsibility. That's how every society progresses. That's the reason why I totally agree with Khushbuji when she says there needs to be a Lakshman Rekha. You can draw that anywhere, but there needs to be a Lakshman Rekha. Theoretically, we can debate about relativism, but in reality, nihilism won't work. We can definitely debate where we can draw that line. And second, Sunil Shetty sir raised a very important point. Sri Sunil Shetty raised a very important point to a yogi CM or a saintly CM, because Bollywood also needs some kind of healing touch, and building the bridges should be there. That's the reason why, like Navika ji began, there needs to be a balance. There needs to be a middle ground. And I believe as an Indian and as a movie lover, Sri Sunil Shetty raised the right point, being an ambassador of the Indian movie industry and perhaps all the movie lovers. He's a very respected person across the spectrum, saying that there needs to be some kind of bridge building that's going to happen. And that bridge building cannot happen by pseudo-secularism, cannot by pseudo-liberals, cannot happen by people like Shama Mohammed calling Bajrang Dal a terrorist organization. That is not the way. But he really showed a way, Sri Sunil Shetty, saying that.
How
and
would
there
you
might
describe
be
the action of Bajrang Dal, Rahul?
I mean, nobody supports vandalism, Kasturi ma'am. Nobody supports vandalism. Nobody supports vandalism and nobody supports any kind of violence. But having said that, people may have their own viewpoints and their own modes of protest. Just like freedom of expression, there is freedom of protest, but it should be happening inside a purview of law.
Pathaan has to be given state security.
Just one submission. Every freedom of protest should be inside the law.
The security, if it is required and law and order has to be maintained, that completely is a separate issue. But let me come get in Akashdeep Sabir Saab. Sabir Saab, the question here is, where is the balance? Where is the Lakshman Rekha? And can the Bollywood film industry just sit there and say, oh, please end this boycott culture, because right now it's pinching Bollywood, the boycott culture. But then people will turn around. It takes two to tango. So then you also live by the rules of the game, which is a little bit of the Lakshman Rekha that people are talking about. And these are the masses that we are talking about. I'm not talking about government intervention or political party intervention or censor board intervention. I'm talking about the fact that these are manufactured. If it was a manufactured protest on social media, then it would be just on social media. Na? People would have gone and watched the film anyway in the hall.
No, Nivedita, I would think it's still very much a manufactured agenda. People now would not go to
My
the
name
malls
happens
in
to be
certain places
Navika,
because of the vandalism that has happened.
Censor him.
It's because...
Censor him.
Sorry, Navika. So, Navika, if there is vandalism happening in a certain area, in a certain theatre, people are not going to go there. They are not going to go there. They're not going there because they have any objection with the film. You see, this is an age of social media. Everyone has a mobile phone. He has an opinion. He's going to post it. Whether he has information or not comes secondary. And that's where our standards fall. Moral policing, this is some sort of moral policing. This is going to come back to bite all of us if we allow this to happen. No kind of moral policing should be allowed. What is this Lakshman Rekha? There will then have to be Lakshman Rekha in everything. Why just Bollywood? There will have to be Lakshman Rekha tomorrow, even in parties, in private conversation. Don't say this, don't say that. Where are we heading? Is this 2023 or an Adi Manavira? A girl has worn a bikini on a beach. She should not wear a bikini. If she's wearing a bikini, there should be no side pose. I mean, if this is what Prasun has done with the film, then Prasun has a lot to answer to Bollywood. And also as regards the fringe group, let me be very clear. The various fringe groups, I suffered in my film Santa Banta the similar fate. The point is, we should not have a censor board. In a democracy, nothing should be censored. Okay, agreed. But we do have a censor board. It's been functioning from 60 years. My point is, it is a government-appointed body. Normally, the head of the organization always in what he says, it reflects the current dispensation's opinion and ideology. Fair enough, although in a democracy even that should not happen. But that happens beyond censorship when fringe groups can come into theaters, can threaten, can have these campaigns to boycott, call somebody a leftist because she was seen at JNU.
But why are you calling the boycotts only being part of the fringe groups? Boycott, you said सबके हाथ में मोबाइल है, कोई भी लिख सकता है. So then there are the masses who are saying boycott. Anand Ranganathan, is Mr. Sabir contradicting himself?
No, with due respect.
But you are but you are mobilizing sentiment. It is so blatantly obvious. You are whiffing up a sentiment. You stop doing it and see how many of them will do it.
Yeah, I'm
the odd ones will do
all
it.
right,
That's
Anand Ranganathan respond and then Chalamani Tripathi. Anand Ranganathan.
Yes. Very quickly, 3 points. You see, it is absolutely correct for people to condemn. Now, sir, please, if you don't mind. In fact, I'm agreeing with you. So please allow me. Navika, 3 very quick points. Number 1, it is absolutely correct for the last panelist to condemn what is happening right now. But the fact is, I would have also preferred had he also said that for the last 60 years, the kind of vociferous censoring, banning, almost burning of film books and everything that has gone on has been kind of a primer for what we are seeing now. So when he says 2023 में ये हो रहा है, I'm sorry, ये 60 साल से हो रहा है और इसीलिए 2023 में हो रहा है. Point number 2, Kasturi made a brilliant point and I think I must emphasize that. You see, when she talked about Langda Lula being changed, the point here, Navika, is that gradually with time, it is not, and I'm not for removing that phrase Langda Lula because I am a free speech absolutist, but I can understand why. Because with time, people's sensitivities also change. For example, if somebody calls someone a retard, that's a strict no-no. You say mentally challenged, or you say.
I'm completely with you, Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Specially abled is the word that we use.
Correct.
My only point is Langda Lula being substituted by Tuta Futa doesn't make it any. ये कौन तय करेगा कि कौन सा पोस्ट सही है, कौन से कपड़े सही हैं, कितना दिखाना सही है और कितना नहीं दिखाना. मुद्दा इस बात पे आता है और मुद्दा इस बात पर भी आता है कि ये जो बॉयकॉट बॉलीवुड वाला है, ये मोबिलाइज्ड बॉयकॉटिंग होती है और ये किसी के इशारों पे होती है.
देखिए, हमारा ये मानना है कि ये जनता तय करेगी, ये दर्शक तय करेंगे, इस देश के लोग तय करेंगे कि उनको फिल्म देखनी है, अच्छी फिल्म देखनी है या कूड़ा फिल्म नहीं देखनी है. अगर आपकी फिल्म में कंटेंट है, आपकी फिल्म अच्छी है, कोई करता रहे बायकॉट, देखने वाले देखेंगे. लेकिन अगर आपकी फिल्म कूड़ा है, उसमें नहीं है कुछ, लोग नहीं देखना चाहते, तो ये कोई जबरदस्ती थोड़ा हम दिखवा सकते हैं. साबिर साहब, अरे भाई ऐसा है साबिर साहब, आप बड़े दिल वाले दिखते हैं. मैंने आपको टोका नहीं, बोलने दीजिए, टोकिए मत. आपकी जब कलाई खुलती है तो आप टोकते हैं, गलत बात है. ऐसा की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं. टोकिए मत, आपको भी टोक सकता था, मैं आपको भी टोक सकता था. 2 मिनट सुनिए. पहले
Sabir साहब, allow him to complete and then I'll come to you. Make your point, Chalamani Tripathi.
करते हैं ना जाने के लिए.
Let me finish.
वैंडलिज्म
साबिर साहब नहीं, let me finish. अगर आपको लगता है कि आपकी सोच बहुत बड़ी है, नहीं, let me finish साबिर साहब. मैं भी आपको रोक सकता हूँ, आप भी नहीं बोल पाएंगे. मुझे भी रोकना आता है, टोकना आता है. तो थोड़ा डिसेंटली देखिए, साबिर साहब ने बड़ी बात कही कि साहब देखिए ये तो लोग जो है, लोगों को ऐसा मोबिलाइज किया जा रहा है. तो आप लोगों को मोबिलाइज कर लीजिए ना कि वो जाके फिल्म देख के चले आए, ये बेशर्म रंग देख कर चले आए. आपको लगता है कि आपकी बात बहुत अच्छी है तो लोग आपके सपोर्ट में खड़े हो जाए. अरे बोलने दीजिए साबिर साहब, अरे बोलने दीजिए ना. आपका इतना बड़ा दिल जो है कश्मीर फाइल्स पे क्यों नहीं आया? साबिर साहब का एक ट्वीट दिखा दीजिए, साबिर साहब का एक स्टेटमेंट दिखा दीजिए, साबिर साहब का एक बयान दिखा दीजिए जो उन्होंने कहा जाओ कश्मीर फाइल्स देख के आओ. तो कश्मीर फाइल्स पे नहीं, क्यों टोक रहे हैं आप क्यों टोक रहे हैं भाई? आप क्यों बेचैन होते हैं? बोलने दीजिए ना मुझे. कश्मीर फाइल्स के मुद्दे पर आप सब जो है, आप एजेंडा चलाना शुरू करते हैं. आप सब एजेंडा चलाना शुरू कर देते हैं. कश्मीर फाइल्स नहीं देखनी है और जनता को देखनी थी, जनता ने देखा. जनता को देखना है, जनता को देखने दीजिए. लेकिन अगर आप कोई कूड़ा फिल्म है, आप कोई कूड़ा फिल्म लेकर आएंगे और लोगों को नहीं पसंद आएगी, तो आप क्या चाहते हैं? सरकार जबरदस्ती दिखवा ले? हाँ, हम किसी भी तरह की जो चीजें कोई अगर तोड़फोड़ करता है, हम उसका विरोध करते हैं. नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए. लेकिन क्या ये पहली बार हो रहा है? पैंडेट क्वीन आई थी तब भी हुआ था, तब तो कांग्रेस का रूल था, पर हो रहा है. तब तो समाजवादी पार्टी थी, तब तो बसपा ने. तो आपको उस टाइम की जो तोड़फोड़ थी वो यार आपको भूल गई. आज अगर 1-2 लोग करते हैं तो आपको लगता है हम करा रहे हैं. तो ऐसा नहीं है। इस देश की जनता बहुत समझदार हो चुकी है साबिर साहब, वो जानती है कि कश्मीर फाइल्स में मुंह पर
इसीलिए तो कहा जाता है, इसीलिए तो कहा जाता है कि ये जो पब्लिक है ये सब जानती है किसको हिट करना है, किसको मिस करना है. Let's leave the verdict to the people of India, to the film goers, because frankly, the time may be there for introspection on both sides. Censorship, clearly not the answer. And censorship of this kind raises many questions. On the other hand, of course, why are the boycott calls coming out? And why is there selective support? That's also a question that needs to be introspected upon. We leave it at that as I thank all my panelists for joining me on debate number 1.